everybody here. And these are 4 pretty special guys. They gave a lot for us to be able to have the freedoms that we do. So we need to honor that. And at this point, I want to introduce my friend Sue Lynch. She's been doing the Quilts of Valor for a little over 8 years now, you said?
Just starting 8.
Just starting 8 years. So I'm going to let Sue take it from here and let her do her program. Okay.
Thanks, Donna. Well, happy 4th of July to everybody. Thanks for coming. I can't think of a better way to start celebrating than that. So, I've been working with Quilts of Valor for, like I said, 7 full years, starting 8. I started with a family group with my husband's side in that. And then it's just kind of snowballed. So in the 7 years that I've worked with this, there's been over 300 quilts that have been awarded locally. The two behind me here, they're kind of special too. One is my friend Loretta. Loretta's been working with Quilts of Valor now for a couple of years. And then her husband Paul, and Paul has gotten his quilt. And he can tell you what special meaning they have. So, Quilts of Valor was started back in 2003 by a lady who had a dream one night. And for those of you who have a son in the service, you'll remember what kind of questions and how you wondered how they were feeling and wondering what's going on. So in her dream, she happened to have a nightmare one night. She sees the son on the edge of the bed. He's just terrorized with nightmares. And so then in another part of the dream, she was trying to think of a way she could come up with how to give him a big hug and say it's all going to be okay. And that hug was a quilt. One that she had made. So then she shared her dream with her friend, like us quilters always do. We're always telling stories back and forth. Well, that friend happened to have a husband who was a chaplain at Walter Reed. And they went on to share that dream with him. And so the Quilts of Valor started with the very first one being awarded to a guy from Minnesota, actually, who had lost a leg in the war. Originally it started that it was just for injured people that were in the war. And then it's kind of snowballed on them. And now they've changed it to those who've been touched by war, serving during the war or conflict time. It's in all the states of the U.S., it's in Canada and Australia. So, it goes all over. Quilts of Valor is... Quilts of Valor is a civilian organization. We have nothing to do with the government or the VA. This is civilian. We like to do this on our own dime. We take donations. Everything you see I've worked with is all by donation. All of the work and materials and that have all been either donated to me or out of our own pockets. So it's a wonderful job to do, and as I had one gal tell me the other day that has gotten a quilt and set up another presentation, she says, the quilts change you. Yeah. So a little bit about the quilts as you see them come out. The top is designated as, with the quilts, the many colors, the shapes, the fabrics. Those kind of represent the communities and the many individuals we are. Each stitch in them represent love and gratitude and sometimes the tears of the maker. The batting is the center part of it. It gives it its warmth. It represents the hope that this quilt will bring warmth and comfort, peace and healing to the individual receiving it. The backing is a strength. It holds everything together. The many pieces represent the strength of, or not many pieces, but the backing together represent the strength of the individual receiving it, his or her families waiting for him at home, the communities in our nation. Quilts of Valor, we like to think of as our civilian Purple Heart. Each person should only receive one so that we can continue to serve as many guys as we can. Quilt of Valor are priceless. We don't sell them. We don't give them as Christmas gifts or birthday presents or something like that. We give them freely from our hearts and our hands. And this Quilt of Valor is meant to be a thank you. A thank you from all of us. A thank you for your service and sacrifice. Each quilt is labeled. It will have your name on it, today's date, and British Sheen. It will give you a notification of who maybe worked on the quilt and piecing the top. And me doing a lot of the quilting on these, and someone else doing the binding. They've all been washed ahead of time, so that we've got as much of the loose dyes and stuff on, but just take care and wash them in cold water later. We do also have a certificate from the Quilts of Valor for you guys that does designate that this is a Quilt of Valor. It has your name on it, today's date, British Sheen, and they go through and say, the Quilts of Valor wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it a privilege to do so. And though we may never know the extent of your service, of your sacrifice to protect and defend the United States of America, we will award you this Quilt of Valor as an expression of gratitude from a grateful nation. And they are signed by the Executive President, myself as a local representative. So with that, oh, I think I know who's you. I think I'm totally figured out.
Yeah, I just thought you might.
Yeah, I know a few of them there. So, Donna, you were the one that requested it, so we're going to start with your husband, Tony.
Okay.
This is his quote.
Oops, sorry.
And I talked about the woman trying to give her a hug. We award these to you guys in the form of a quilty hug. So if at any point in time, if you're feeling down or that, just wrap up in your quilt. Here is your hug.
Thank you.
And here is your quilt, or your certificate. Hey, Tony. They're all a little different, which we try to do. You guys are all different, so we have. So we talked about the many little pieces. We use a lot of the scraps up, and we form it into that like Brad used to do. This one is Bill. Bill Tenors.
He's fancier than you are, Dad. But they tailor it.
More scraps, right? That's what these
More scraps, Dad. They use more scraps on that.
You got bigger pieces, you got small ones.
That's what exhibit that brother responds.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yep, this one is what's happening because your brother.
Okay.
Well, the floor was clean once today too.
And there's another one. And this one is Kevin's. All the different clothes we went to get you. Bill. Here's yours. And so last but not least, Bill Johnson. He's a big star. But yours has got a little more fancy stitches.
Oh. That's because he's the fanciest of us all.
That's because I picked on you more.
Oh, I don't know.
Some about those connections.
There are.
The tags all say that it is a quilt to Valor. Quilting to honor and comfort, those touched by war, it's awarded to Bill, and Brady Sheen on 7/1/21. Piece by Pat, quilted by me, and another Pat found it. And it's got the washing instructions that say wash in cold water. These have all been through a big, long, washing machine, automatic there. No bleach, tumble dry low. I use color catchers in them the first few times, just to catch any blue skies and stuff on them. So, now it'll be you guys' time, so you can tell us all where you were in the service, which branch you went. Who's first? Come on, Bill Johnson. Where were you in service? They'll say, what branch of service were you in, and where, and when?
I was in the Army 1766 through 68. Went to Vietnam in April of 67. I think it was by August. Such a band, I got wounded while I was over there. Spent 2 months in Japan. Couple months on the Fitzsimmons in Denver. And then I there went to Fort Knox until time of discharge. In October of 68.
I went into the Army in December of 64 till 66. Spent 12, 16 weeks in Fort Knox. And I got shipped to Korea for 13 months. And then I shipped back to Fort Riley, Kansas for my final tour. Got out in 66 in December.
I've been with Wisconsin Natural Gas from April 71 to April 20. I had 23 years in service. In that time, the Desert Storm, back there.
Did you go twice?
The route went twice, but I was already retired.
I went to the Marine Corps in 58. Got out in 68. 2 years in Vietnam. Quite a few missions. So, not much more to talk about.
Section 5.
like to add one more thing. Well, maybe two. I feel pretty special today, cause this one's my husband, this one's my brother, and these two on the bookends are my brother-in-laws. And both of my brother-in-laws, received Purple Hearts for their service. So they, you know, whatever, they were above and beyond. The Purple Heart is pretty prestigious award, so. Thank you,
Should have learned to stay out of the way.
no, Kevin stayed out of the way.
Oh, whatever.
Wasn't losing this, but-